Join me as we create a fun fall step-up card using nothing but dies. Let's get into it. For today's project, we're using the step-up die set from Pixie Dust Designs and the autumn accessory for the die set for the vintage truck dies. All right, so I've cut my cardstock and I needed a piece of 6 by 8 3/4 inch piece to fit this die. And this will make an A2 size card if you leave off the little decorative roof. And it's just if with that on it, it's just slightly over. So I've cut that from brown cardstock and I've folded those score lines that the die creates. And I'm coming now in with some vintage rusty hinge. Yeah, it's rusty hinge distress ink. And I'm just ink going around those edges to add a little bit of texture to the card. And I'm going to do that to all the pieces. Most of them I did off screen, but I did want to show you I did some of them on screen. I even did all the little pumpkins from the autumn accessory dies and my little scarecrow pieces. I've set and did all those. So we're going to go ahead and open up our card and lay it the way it's just normally flat. And I'm going to add that little stitch rectangle in there. And that's going to be where my sentiment is going to go. Now for the grass, I chose 2 different colors of cardstock. And I just inked up the top of them so that it would have a little bit of detail in there. I'm going to go ahead and add the outline die cut for the round window that goes on the door. And we're going to go ahead and add that to our door while we have it out. So we're going to go ahead and just attach that with liquid glue. I use liquid glue for the entire project today. And if you stick around to the end, I do show you the other project that you got a sneak peek of in the opening. So this is my little window piece, and I've just cut that from the Harvest Smooth paper pad. And the orange came from the Sprinkle paper pad from scrapbook.com. So I've just added those in. I'm going to add my little stem to my little pumpkins. Now I will tell y'all, if you're going to get these dies, they're fabulous, but you're going to want to have reverse tweezers and or a pickup tool, because some of the parts are teeny tiny, and I used both. I used the reverse tweezers and a pickup tool so that I was able to pick up the little teeny tiny pieces. Well, I have fat hands anyway, so there's that. But I would suggest that anyway, because the parts are kind of small, especially on the pumpkin stems and the scarecrow's eyes and nose and eyebrows. You can always color them in with markers. I've done that before many times. All right, so for my little scarecrow, I've cut the shadow outside or base layer, and I always cut that just from white cardstock. I'm gonna add his little face in there, and I'm gonna add the little hair next. It all lines up right together. You can actually are etched lines on the die cut pieces to show you where everything lines up. For his little hat, I'm just going to add that little olive green hat right at the top. It's such a cute little card. I had so much fun playing with it. That's why I ended up making 2. Because I wanted to put one together first to make sure I could do it. And then the other one was for the video. So we're going to go ahead and add on our little pieces here, or on his little feet. Now, I did learn this the hard way. Do the hands and feet first before you put the jacket on, because otherwise you're going to have to rip up the shirt and rip up the pants to get them under there. So do the hay first. Hay, always first. All right, now we're going to add his little red shirt. And just pop that right on place. Now you do have to be careful, because if you're like me and using this, the Nuvo glue is a lot more... has a lot more wiggle room than the Barely Arts glue does. So I have learned that with the glue press that I have to be a little bit more careful when I'm moving stuff around, because I have a little bit more time to do it. Now I'm just adding the little patches. I cut those from red and green cardstock, and the one die does both designs of the patches. So I just ran them through twice. And then I'm going to add his little hat band to his little hat, and then we are going to go ahead and add little dots of glue in for the eyebrows and for his little mouth and eyes. This is where the pickup tool came in super handy, especially if I had them turned right. So I've added his eyes in there. I just cut those from that same brown cardstock. You do have to cut the eyes and the face color twice to get all those pieces, especially if you're using different colors. I could have totally left it the pink and just colored them, but I did. So I'm going to add one more patch to his hat because I had an extra patch, so I thought I might as well use it. Now, this is the apple basket in the die set for the autumn accessory dies, and I put it together wrong. This is not the first time I have put this thing together. I put it together like 4 times before, and I still put this on wrong. The pieces I'm putting on now should have went to the other side and turned the other direction. I realized this as I put this piece on right here because I kept wondering, why is that sticking out the bottom? Well, it's because Rick put it on the wrong way, and by George, I was not going to pull it up. So I made sure that it worked. I just cut off the excess and didn't worry about it. So I'm going to put on the other one, and then I'm going to put the top piece on. Now, I did choose not to add the metal part for this. There's an extra little piece that goes like across like the little handle of the basket. I chose not to put that on this time. And I'm going to go ahead and add my little scarecrow to his little stalk or stick. And now we're going back to the pieces of the, this is the roof for the little house that the step-up card actually creates. And we are adding those little stitched pieces in there. And the die for the roof actually embosses a line into the areas that they're supposed to go, so you know exactly where to line them up at. It's super easy. That is one of the things I really enjoy about Pixie Dust Designs dies. They have all the little details worked out, and they put them on there super easy. So it's super easy to put together. They look complicated as heck, but they're super easy to put together. Otherwise, y'all know I wouldn't be doing it. All right, for that roof, I'm just going to add the glue right where it's going to stick to the step-up card. And I just lined it up to the top of the card score line. Not going over, just right to it. I'm going to add my little door in there. And there is actually a little doorknob that's etched into the little door. It's super cute. You just can't see it on this cardstock that I chose. Now for this, I'm going to add the 2 rows of the grass. I chose to do 2 layers on this, but you only have to do 1. The picture on the back of the dies actually shows just 1, but I had to be extra, so we're adding 2 layers. Y'all know it's Gay Man's card, so we're being a little extra on this. Now for this layer, I'm going to take and put it on there, and I'm going to offset it just slightly. And then this goes in the little step-up area. And we're just going to attach it right behind the little step up right there, just like that. Super easy, nothing hard. Now we are going to attach our little scarecrow. So I'm flipping him over so that I know what areas to add my glue to and not get it on the open area and glue the card shut, because I may have done that before. So, and you got to be careful because, again, that Nuvo glue is super viscous. So it kind of slid a little bit and I had to rearrange everything, clean everything up. Now I'm going to add my little apple basket, and I'm using 1mm foam tape to pop that on, and that was just cut from a piece of the backside of a wood grain pattern paper from the, I'll list it in the supply list. I can't remember the name of it now. I've used it recently. I'm going to pop my little apples in my basket. I did not add the stems. The stems are actually cut with the same die that cuts the stems for the pumpkins, and Rick did not figure that out until this card, after he's made 4 cards using this set. But it's neither here nor there, so I'm adding some little leaves I cut from just brown and red paper, the same papers we have used throughout this card. So I'm going to add those in, and I'm using that pickup stick to pop those in there. And I'm going to add one more right under the little basket over here, because, you know, we got to have a nice little fall scene. And now I'm going to add my little pumpkins. The 2 larger pumpkins I'm going to glue straight down to the card base. And the smaller one I'm going to pop up on a foam square. And y'all know I am not really big onto fun faux cards. I can do them, But by George, I will tell you, this made this super easy. And by the way, if I didn't mention it, you need a 6 by 8 3/4 piece of cardstock to run this through and the right size. I had to do a little partial die cutting on the one end because it wasn't big enough for the machine I have. So if I had the super big shot, or that whatever that's called, it would went through fine. But I don't. I have just a regular size, so I had to kind of run another section through to get it all in. Now my sentiment I am adding on with liquid glue, and it's just this Harvest Time. That is from the same Autumn Accessory Vintage Truck die set. And we are just going to, the H and the T are to come separate, and the other parts of the words are their own little dies. So I've just added those on, and I always lose the IME for some reason. But my little embellishment for this card is I'm going to cut some gold glitter leaves from that same leaf die set that I use from the Autumn Accessory dies, and I'm just cut 3 of those to add like a little sparkle and embellishment to the card. I'm going to come in and add some white gel pen highlights through everything to my little pumpkins. And I've added them to the apples and the basket and my little scarecrow. I'm going to add some to his little hat and the leaves and the door. You know, I got to have some highlights everywhere. I can't help it. We're going to add some up to the roof. And every time I think I'm done, I know I see another spot that needs some, like right here, and there needs to be a little highlight up here in the rounded part. And then I'm going to put it away, and then I'm like, oh, crap, I needed some right on his little face right here. So that's how I roll. All right, so that's a look at the card. You can put a piece on the inside. And here is a second version of the same card using more products, and you can get closer looks right here. And I will, if you enjoyed this video, you're probably going to like the one coming up right here.